Getting started in headshot photography has never been easier. As a full-time headshot photographer, I know what gear is critical and what's just nice to have. Be sure to check the description for links to most of the gear mentioned. Let's jump in. Oh, and leave a comment if you're struggling with something specific. Camera and lenses. You're going to need a camera, and just about any full-frame mirrorless camera body will work. A traditional DSLR is fine too. You just don't need the latest and greatest because those cameras are targeted to photographers that are pushing the boundaries of the gear, like for shooting very fast action sports or in very extreme conditions. Headshots are generally pretty controlled. For Canon, the R6 Mark II has been perfect. I've been using the R6 line in my business since it came out, and it's fantastic. Competing cameras at the same price point will work well too. Basically, these fall under the full-frame prosumer categories. One note, you don't need the high-resolution versions. Most headshots are used small on LinkedIn, for examples. And 50 megapixels is way overkill unless you know you have some other use case, and you'll know if you need it. For lenses, you want something in the 50 millimeter range or longer. Common options include 24 to 105, 85, or a 70 to 200. At the longer range, any of these options will be great. And if possible, stick with an f4 or f2.8 lens, if your budget allows. The f2.8 isn't that important if you're doing studio work, but if you plan to do outdoor portraits, the 2.8 is a good investment. And lenses generally hold their value too, better than cameras, so splurge on that 2.8 lens first. A 50 millimeter is a little short or wide for headshots, but if that's all you've got, start with that over a zoom kit lens. One of the least exciting pieces of gear is the tripod. It's also one of the most important for headshot photography, both for consistency and repetition. A tripod literally grounds your camera and will add a lot of repeatability to your work. It also saves your back and shoulders over time. So if you're in it for the long haul, invest in a good tripod. You also need a ball head on the tripod. This allows you to easily move the camera around and deal with the lean from your subjects. These are different than like a pan tilt head used for video or very precise work. Now, it's not that headshots aren't precise, it's just that your goal is to get a great expression. The exact angle of your camera doesn't matter. Carbon fiber tripods are, of course, lighter, but more expensive. And having that center column that you can raise or lower is also critical. Photographing just 3 people might mean a height range of a foot or more. And a center column will be able to handle this without any problem. You don't want to be adjusting the tripod legs mid-session. Trust me. Lights or strobes, and a trigger. Technically, you can be a natural light headshot photographer, but you'll quickly find limits, especially if you want to do corporate work. Learning to use strobes or flashes isn't really that hard, especially with digital. I've been using Profoto lights for years, but Westcott and Godox also make some good options. Strobes pack a lot more punch for their size now, too. Light modifiers. Making a flattering portrait of anyone, not just the attractive models that you might find at a workshop, requires some soft, flattering light. And to get that soft light, you need an umbrella or a softbox to spread out the beam. The result is a much gentler look than you'd get from blasting a bare flash at someone. And the trick with modifiers when it comes to portraits is learning to feather them. Instead of aiming the umbrella right at the subject, aim it so it catches the edge of the subject. This will add to the flattering quality of light the modifier is designed to provide. This is probably one of the most important concepts when it comes to lighting people. Backgrounds. For any sort of consistency, you'll also want a specific background. Now, I love using Savage Seamless Paper. Basically, you just want something that you can take to different locations to give you a consistent look. Ideally, your subject should be 2 to 3 feet or more from the background. That little bit of separation really adds up to the look of the image. Otherwise, your headshots might look more like a driver's license or passport photo. Time to practice. Practice, practice, practice. Learn your gear and its limits. Everyone will tell you this, but I'll say it again. When photographing people, you have to be extra confident and comfortable in your gear and settings. If something goes wrong and you freak out, Your subject will assume it's their fault and start panicking. Instead, you need to say something like, "You look great, let me just adjust my camera settings." But you've got to be able to fix it. You can't ask ChatGPT mid-session. If you do, your client just might ask ChatGPT to finish that session for you. So what else are you struggling with when it comes to headshot photography? Remember, let me know in the comments. Thanks for watching, and if you'd like to get more tips from me, sign up for my newsletter with the link below. See you next time.